Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and a very warm welcome to you. Welcome back to the Misfits Racing League. This is Season 6, Round 5 from the top of my head, or Round 6. It's been a while since I've been here, actually. This is the United States of America, as you can see here. Yes, it is indeed the 5th round of this 18-round championship. Things are definitely heating up, but more on that in a moment. The reason I started a bit earlier is because you probably noticed my absence from streaming the last few weeks. It's been a bit of an up and down on whether I could stream or not, and there were several very good reasons for that. I've had COVID, first and foremost, for a week, which kind of put me out of commission for pretty much everything, work included, and many things I would like to do in real life. Also had several, well, let's just say, not very happy things happening to me personally. I had my uncle passing away 2 weeks ago, which, well, you know, kind of hard. Kind of, it's by a bit of a loss for words. It's a bit hard to find proper words for that. And after that, my body decided to have an infection, so therefore, things haven't been exactly, life hasn't been nice to me in the past 3 weeks, but I'm back, and I hope I can actually stay here now for the remainder of the season, for the remaining, 13, 14 rounds of this one included. I'm just happy to be here again. I hope you will enjoy tonight's race, tonight's broadcast. Let's see what they can do in Tier 3 here. And yeah, let's have a little look at the standings, which is always nice to see what is going on there. Ayub Khan still having a healthy lead over Grenade Gore. It's actually pretty tight there at the top, of course, with only 4 rounds passed. It's still everybody's game, but so far Ayub is doing a great job of keeping himself at the top of the table. Grenade Goran, though, very near him with only 6 points in difference. PW Jones in 3rd place in his Williams at the moment, 1 point behind Goran, and behind Jones with only 1 point difference is Pixon. So there's definitely very, very close in the top 4 at least. Then a bit behind Max O'Connor in 5th at the moment with 36 points, followed by Sam, and then CRB, Reflexes, 4-door sedan, and the end of the top 10 is filled in by Ian with 19 points. Still, Aston Martin is without any points whatsoever just yet. Now that both drivers, original drivers, have been replaced, MBS as well as driver DNB now driving for the team. XTXP having left the permanent seat in Aston Martin, told us that he's making room for the newer generation, which is very generous of him, of course, but it's a shame to see him go. And I wish him, of course, all the luck in the future. What do we have in terms of teams? Haas is actually leading the championship, as on average that team is doing better in terms of points. AlphaTauri is just behind, though, with only 5 points less in 2nd place. Williams in 3rd, and then Red Bull and Alpine equal on 49 points. Good evening, Baza. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you back. And as I said, Aston Martin still on naught. However, Ferrari's only got 3 points, which is very little, so it's easy for Aston Martin to climb 1 place at least tonight if Ferrari's woes continue. We have got 3 reserves waiting for us here in the lobby. It's Relax in the McLaren, who's being replaced by Archio, and both Red Bull drivers are actually not present here. They are being replaced by Ernest and, let's see if he's in the lobby already, Joseph. Let's have a little look. No, he's not in the lobby just yet. However, Joseph has now been replaced by Blind. So Blind and Ernest are the reserve drivers for Red Bull Racing tonight. So I believe from the top of my head that actually means there will be no points for Red Bull, no matter where the reserves will finish. All the drivers are pretty much in the lobby now, which means it's only a matter of seconds, most likely, until the host gives the get-go, and then people will start readying up and getting on for the race. Let me know in the chat any favorites for pole position with tonight's grid. So that would be tonight's grid as usual, minus Relax, CRB and Ian. They are replaced, as said, by Archibald, Ernest, and Blind. The lobby is readying up. Almost everybody has done the check mark now in the game. There's been a stability update today as well, by the way. Which makes the game more stable, apparently. Which is always great, you know, stabilizing stuff is always good. Although this game, frankly, is never really truly stable despite all of the updates. There's still plenty of work to be done for Codemasters/EA. So let's hope for the future. Anyway, we are pretty much about to go to the track. The very fancy track in Texas, the Circuit of the Americas. It's always, personally for me, I don't really like driving around on the track, but racing here is always really good. Overtaking isn't very difficult, especially on those two straights. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, the loading is complete and we are now live at the USA, all the way from over the ocean, from over the Atlantic Ocean, live from you, from South Central America, of course, that being Texas. The nice run all the way uphill, you can see there from the end of the pit lane, has always been one of my favorite things ever on any track in Formula 1. It looks really, really cool. That's definitely one of my favorite parts on the track. Already we have somebody leaving the pit lane. Let's have a little look. It's one of the Haases. It's either going to be Grenade Goran or Sam. It is in fact the man second in the Drivers' Championship who's coming out first and ready to get going. Downhill then after turn 1. And into the famous snaky section, as I like to call it, because it just goes from left to right, from left to right. And with every corner you have to slow down a little bit. Doing this perfect can gain you so much time, it's actually insane. And of course the track limits here are as well very, very tight, so you have to be careful. Let's see what everybody's doing in terms of tires. Most of them, of course, starting on the soft tires, several trying on the medium, and I am getting the feeling that nobody really is trying to put a fast lap on the mediums, unless they're like really strong on them. But they are mostly, I think, saving a set of soft tires for in the race. That's what I'm currently thinking, because we've already seen that the medium tires so far never really made it into the top 10, let's be honest. And since there are 2 medium sets for the race, if you start outside the top 10, you'll start on the newest, freshest set that you have in your arsenal. So, yeah, I think these guys, so like the FIFA Soul, Reflexes, Backrow, Jasco and Archio, are all just saving a set of tires. Anyway, back to the track. Let's see what Grenade Goran can do. Look at this beautiful helmet, by the way. Very, very fancy. Is it a custom one or one of those legendary helmets which is already pre-designed? Let's have a little look. Looks very nice. Here he goes then. Let's see what he can do in his Haas car. Into the first corner. This can be another corner where you can gain quite a lot of time, and then come the S's. The snake section. Not entirely sure if this part of the track technically has an official name or not. It's going quite tight over there. All of these corners immediately following up one another. Good evening, Fubar. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. It's been a while. And he approaches then the back straight. Let's see what he can do there. Of course, just full out on power and as fast as you can go. DRS will be on here. This is looking like quite a decent banker lap so far. He's being chased down by a Ferrari behind him at the moment. Either Ayrton or Laviva Sol, who is right behind him. A purple second sector, of course. A 1 minute 2.110, which I think is quite nice. Ahead of him, a pretty slow Alpha Tauri. Might be Ayub, in fact. It is him, because his teammate Waifun is behind him on a hot lap. So his main rival is just ahead of him. He is slowing down, getting ready for his hot lap. Will he be in the way? No, he's nicely moving out of the way there, but it will cost him some tire temperature. Not sure if that is ideal there for Ayub. And the first lap time of tonight is a 32.351, which actually I think is pretty nice. Followed by Ayrton, who is quite a bit slower, in fact, with a 32.797. I wouldn't be surprised if we went well into the 1 minute 31s here in Tier 3. And PW Jones and slotting in right but behind, in fact really closely behind, and Wyfoon just ahead of Grenade Gorn. And look at the top three, all within the 1 minute 32.3s. So it's definitely already very tight, with Wyfoon immediately moving out of the way for several cars behind him, who are in turn also moving out of other cars for the Williams, for example. So a bit of chaos there. But that was in fact Hecko, who already had set a lap time. It's very tight through here. I think he nearly lost the car in that part, but he's still going. And it looks like he actually is on a second flying lap, and it is a purple first sector and an invalidation. So that means a jinx. Thank you very much, me. Max O'Connor then, oh dear, sorry about that, accidentally pressed the escape button. Max O'Connor then going even faster with a 32.1. Which is a great thing for McLaren. They kind of need those points. Last time I checked with this stream and live stream myself, McLaren had an absolute disastrous day, and Max O'Connor is the only McLaren driver here tonight on the track who can score points for their team. Let's have a little look at the medium drivers, medium tire drivers that is. Reflexes and Archbo are currently the fastest two, but especially Reflexes. That was a Red Bull sideways, I think. Which one exactly was that? It is Ernest, who's gone off the track, facing the wrong way. He's gonna have to try again. Still, though, he was on his outlap, so it's not too bad. But let's see what he can do in his Red Bull car. Going very wide there. I think his tires are still a little bit hot. He's going very slow. Although an Alfa Romeo is approaching from behind at speed. He's moving out of the way nicely over there. It's either Backrow or Jesko then, who was moving very quick there. It is in fact Backrow, who's gone for a second hot lap in a row, and just barely enough battery to complete the lap. They are nicely within the lines, and an improvement there up to P9 with the medium tires. So at 33.6, I think that's pretty decent for those tires. So then most people have set a lap time. Ernest is currently the only one without a time on a hot lap. And here he is then. Let's see what he can do in comparison to drivers such as Max O'Connor. End of the first sector. It is in fact purple, but we have to take it with a grain of salt, as I've explained several times earlier. The game is not very accurate with purple sectors. But if it is purple, then this is a very promising reserve driver, of course. He wouldn't be here if he wouldn't be quick enough for this tier. So, interesting prediction there. Agustin Torlash with the pole being a 31.2, which means the current time has to be improved by 9/10 of a second. It's going to be interesting, but it's never not possible, you know? It's not impossible. That's what I'm trying to say. In the third sector then, Ernest in his Red Bull. Let's see what he can do. Where will he slot his car? Will he be faster than the other reserve driver, Blind? It's looking good. No invalidation just yet. And onto the main straight. Oh, that was very close to the track limits there. A 33.0, which is quite a bit of the pole pace, if we're honest. But it's not bad. It's currently 8th fastest. So, yeah. Gotta give credit where credit's due. One of the men in the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship. He's in fact quite high up there. From the top of my head, at least. Let's have a quick look for myself. No, he's in fact P9 at the moment. Of course, still plenty of chances to claim the title. He's been one of the drivers that has been improving in my eyes. Let's see what he can do here. Oh my goodness, that's an Aston Martin doing a bit of a dangerous stuff there. 1 minute 2.3, according to the game that's purple, but it's already 2/10 slower than Grenade Goran was after the second sector. So I'm not entirely sure that is completely accurate. Unless his first sector was a lot slower and then his second sector was really, really fast. But let's see what the timing sheet will say when he comes around the final corner. Then onto the main straight, right behind his teammate. It is a 1 minute 32.6, and that's currently enough to claim 5th place. But the man who still hasn't been beaten on that provisional pole lap is Max O'Connor. The 2 drivers behind him now, in fact, are coming out for a second attempt with just under 9 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. By the way, if anyone has any weather updates for me in terms of the race, I would much appreciate that. I haven't seen any rain so far yet. I haven't seen Imola last week because I was literally in the hospital for 4 hours during that day. It wasn't very nice. So I have yet to see rain. Wyfoon and Grenade Goran getting ready for their hot lap. Let's see if they can improve. They need at least 2 10s, and look at this. Ayrton Torlashi in the meanwhile has slotted himself right in between Max O'Connor and Wyfoon with his Ferrari, and I think Ferrari really needs this. With only 3 points on the board, they've had a terrible run of luck, both of them, and Ayub Khan once again showing his muscles in the AlphaTauri, now fastest overall. We haven't seen him yet here on the top of the board, but there he is. The leader of the Drivers' Championship, now leading, but no more as Reflexes goes even faster. We are now with the 32 zeros. I'm not sure if we can make the 31 twos, if I'm honest. We still need about 8/10 of a second quicker from these drivers. But we might potentially see Wyfoon try and do that. We might actually try see Grenade Gorm, but he's already invalidated despite being nearly 2/10 faster, which is a big shame. He's gonna have to try again. Very, very unfortunate for him. So let's see what Wyfoon can do then on his fresh, soft tires. Through the S's, stay within the lines. A purple first sector, 1/10 quicker. It's looking good for him. McLaren moving out of the way there. We didn't see him, but he did move out of the way on the minimap. Let's see what he can do. Max O'Connor heading back into the pit lane. He hasn't been able to improve, it looks like. His reserve teammate currently sitting in 6th place with a 32.279. So it's already really tight from P1 up till P9. It's all within 3/10 of a second, which is insane. Ooh, that's a bit of an oversteering moment there, going a bit wide and already 25 milliseconds slower than his previous lap time, so no good news then for Wyfoon. He'll need a bit more in the final sector. He'll need to push it really hard here. You probably want to be as close to his teammate as possible. He knows the competition within the team is fierce. He knows he has to deliver. That's very, very, very tight on the lines there. Very tight on the track limits. And that's an invalidation on the last corner. Oh no. Poor man. Poor, poor man. That's a shame. That's a shame. Grenade Goran, I think, is already going for a second attempt, as his first, of course, was ruined by a invalidation, and Blind now going fastest with a 1 minute 32.0, just 2 milliseconds quicker than Reflexes was. And there we go, welcome to the 1 minute 39s. Alex Gamesim now the fastest man overall, and Hako slotting himself potentially on the front row with a 31.996. We have reached the 1 minute 31s. Now the question is, of course, can Grenade Goran do the same? He's currently 3/10 faster. He's nearly within those 1 minute 31s. He can put himself on provisional pole here if he doesn't mess it up in the final sector. It's looking good. Very tight on the inside of the corner there. Then round the final 2-1s. No invalidation yet here, but he's slowing down. He was 3/10 quicker in the second sector and he's stopped. He's given up. Was he out of fuel? I think he was. There's no other reason why he would just head back into the pit lane with... oh dear, there's somebody mowing some grass there. Anyway, so that means Grenadier Gorn will have to rely on his final attempt, as apparently now there's yellow flags in every single possible sector. The MBS now slowing down to an absolute crawl after cutting some grass. Well, the Aston Martin is green, but, you know, don't have to take that so literally, of course. In the meanwhile, Ayrton Torlaschi, chased by a Red Bull, heading into the pit lane. He's now going for a hot lap. Let's see what he can do. Laviva Sol has finally improved his 2-minute round lap time to a 33.4, which is only enough for P18, and only driver DNB and Jesko are behind him at the moment. But it looks like Jesko himself is currently improving by well over a second, which will currently put him somewhere in the ranges of P17, in fact. You can see it's incredible. It's a 1 second improvement, and it's only enough for P17. Unless, of course, this final sector is even stronger. I think it will be, because I think his previous lap time was on the medium tires. Here he comes then, around the final corner, and it is all the way up to P6. Wow! From P20 to P6 with a 32.150. I don't think he will have another run, time for another run, so that's pretty much his qualifying over, and he'll have to pray that everybody behind him will not improve, which is very unlikely, of course, but not impossible. So let's see what Ayrton Torlaschi can do. Apparently a purple second sector, which wouldn't surprise me. He's currently 0.2 faster than his previous attempt, which would currently put him very, very close to the top. Let's see what he can do then. Ferrari needs this. Can he put his car on the front row? That's quite incredible, yes, with no practice, then still third place. That means you've got some serious talent. Onto the main straight. Oh, that's a lot of oversteer. He nearly swept into the wall, but it is the third position there on the grid for now, at least. On the second row, well done to Ayrton there, despite the massive oversteering moment. He's done it. His teammate, in the meanwhile, is finally exiting the pit lane with only 2 minutes remaining. So let's see what he can do. He's waiting for drivers to pass there. One of the Alpines right ahead of him. That's in fact Reflexes, already having invalidated his lap. So that's his attempt ruined already. If he's quick, he can do another lap, but he's going to have to hurry up. There's several drivers behind him wanting to do the same. It's really crowded out on track, especially ahead of all of these guys. I think it's a bit chaotic going on over here. Drivers moving out of each other's way every single time to get the most clear air. So there might be some problems here down the line, unless they manage to find a gap, but they will not have much time left. Ayub Khan then. My goodness, look at the time from the championship leader. Half a second quicker than Alex Gamesim was, and this is once again the power of this man. It's unbelievable. Half a second quicker than anybody else. I think the prediction might be coming true. If anybody can improve on this, wow, that's insane. This man has been pretty much a match for Ayub. It's almost 0.2 quicker, which is not nearly enough for pole position unless he somehow can find 7 more tenths in the final sector. I doubt that's going to be the case. A mighty lap from Ayub Khan then, and currently provisional pole. His main rival is now coming round the final 2 corners. Several drivers ahead of him are finally starting their last attempt at a hot lap. He's getting a bit of a tow here, just a tiny bit. And it's only a 32.0 P5 for him only right now, as PW Jones is currently slotted into P3. Archuo, another reserve driver, with another insane lap, another 31.4. Goodness me, is that the track evolving so quickly, or the driver is actually sandbagging for the first 2 attempts? Wow. That's very true indeed, Gauzy, that René Goran is usually a lot better in the race. But of course, I'm pretty sure he'll want to be a bit higher up, because it's only P6 at the moment, and several drivers behind him are still trying to set a faster lap. Reflexes, for example, trying that as well. Ayub Khan now retired from position, and there you go, now he's already in P8. Even his teammate has now outqualified him. Sam, Hako, also having improved and probably going even quicker, judging from this final attempt. 2/10 about more or less quicker in the second sector. Round the final corner he comes. It's for sure going to be a 1 minute 31. It is a 1 minute 31.8 just behind his teammate, and then moved down to P7 by Wyfoon. So yeah, it's tough, it's hard. But it looks like René Gorn isn't giving up just yet. He's trying another final attempt right behind the Aston Martin in the wake of the green car, and invalidation there, and immediately he exits into the pit lane. He's tried, but he's failed. MBS then, I think this is the last drive to improve his time to a 1 minute 32.1. Once that was provisional pole, now it's only enough for P15. Wow. Just keep in mind that a 32.135 used to be provisional pole at the start of this qualifying. And look where it brings you now. Some brutal lap times tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And look at the Mercedes cars. Slotting into P3 and 4, looking good for them. They can haul in some serious points for their team tonight if they do well and stay on that position or improve. Although the only one coming really close to Ayub is Archuo, so yeah, round of applause for this man. Absolutely fantastic performance from both of these drivers. And they are a class apart, that's for sure. And that's qualifying for you then, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have another look at the final results. Ayub Khan then, pole position. Archuo getting really close, but not just not enough. Pixon and Alex Gamesim on 3/10 behind. Then back row in P5. PW Jones in P6. Wyfoon, that's Ayub's teammate, P7. Hako in 8th. Sam in 9th. Reflexes in P10. Then the man in second place now in P11. Max O'Connor P12 only. He was on provisional pole for quite some time. Ayrton in P13, Blind P14, MBS in 15th, Jesco in 16th, Driver DNB then in P17, Ford Sedan 18th, La Vivasol in 19th. And starting from the back of the grid is Ernest. And that was a perfect timing. Safety car first lap. And predictions, of course. I'm curious to see who you think will win this race. Will it be another dominant victory by Ayub Khan? We've already seen that sometimes things happen that don't necessarily affect him in a positive way. We've seen it in Australia, for example. Strategy-wise and race-wise, he got screwed a little bit. He could have won that quite easily, I think. But then again, the wait has started. We are getting ready for the race. Strategies, I think soft to hard, or medium to hard if you want to play it safe. I don't think soft to medium on this track is possible. Will probably not really be a good idea for your tires. They will not appreciate that. I just realized that the latest update of OBS has made my software completely Dutch. Interesting. Strat is soft medium. Okay. Maybe I'm mistaken then. There we are. Oh, there, Archuo was really gunning for it. He wants to go. He's like, let's just go, guys. Why are we waiting? Let's check the tires. Okay, several different strategies here. A few drivers starting on the mediums. Just as many starting on the soft side of the top 10. And Jesco playing it very safe and starting on the hard tire. We do have a bit of a problem though. Ernest and his teammate is actually far behind. Blind has left the session. I thought for a moment he had some car issues, but yeah, he's far behind now. His AI is driving for him at the moment. But that means now both Red Bulls are behind. Of course, he'll be able to get back to P14, but if he doesn't rejoin in time, and I'm afraid he can only rejoin his car after the race starts, it's not the greatest moment for him. And look at here. Archuo showing that he's ready to race. He's already overtaken Ayup in the formation lap. He's like, let's go, I'm ready to fight here. My man. Ayup, my man, I'm ready, man. Let's go, let's do it. This man is feisty. Feisty, sorry. Meanwhile, casually, Ayup is just running in front of two Mercedes cars who are very close together. Will they work together for victory, or will they race? No, he doesn't, ex-Kirby. Well, that would be insane. But he is in a hurry. Look at the gap he's created between himself and pretty much the rest of the field. He's in a hurry. He's like, I've got other things to do after this race, man. Let's go. They raced in the grid for grid slots. That would they should try that out sometimes. That would be hilarious. Now look, in the far distance, it's the McLaren. Technically, that's breaching the formation lap rules, but I don't think any penalties exist for that in this league. But it's funny. It's funny. Let's just say it's funny. The grid is forming then. Blind is currently AI. Let's hope he'll be able to rejoin quickly. Nicely on the yellow line. You don't need to go too far over that, otherwise you will get penalized. Fortunately, for every single driver, the AI will put your car on your grid slot. Here we go then. Let's see. Now it's apparently lap 2. I'm sure that's not incorrect. There we go then, 3 lights, 4, they're all flashing on at the moment. The lights have a bit of an issue there. We're having a bit of a wait here, but we are finally off, and it looks like the McLaren of Archie was in fact a better start. He's already getting alongside Ayub Khan here. He will send it to the inside. Ayub Khan nearly doesn't notice him there, kind of runs into him, and it looks like everybody's getting safely through turn 1, except for Backrow, who's now already retired from the race and crashed out after only 1/3, and there is your first safety car. In fact, a virtual safety car, slowing down the field already. A bit of chaos there for back row especially, but it looks like other than that everyone has made it out safely. PW Jones having already climbed up 2 places, the top 3 currently remaining as it is. So that's a shame. One of the Alfa Romeo is already out of the race, but fortunately for the rest of the grid, no safety cars straight away. That's a good question. I saw him going onto the grass. I don't really think he hit the wall that hard even. But sometimes the game just registers hits a bit extreme. Looks like already everybody's getting the hurry up as the flag has gone green again and racing continues. Immediately Max O'Connor strikes Hecko literally in the side, which allows Sam to get past both of them for 7th place. So yeah, the McLaren down here, just like his teammate, is really ready to get fighting. So much in fact that he is attacking the Danish driver and now getting past Hecko, who had a bit of an oversteering moment, unless he let him past because of the collision a few corners ago. Literally fighting for positions. Yes, ex-Kirby, well spotted there. This is your top 3 at the moment. Pixon in 3rd, chasing down Archuo to get that 2nd position, and not too far behind PW Jones in the Williams, who's overtaken Alex GameSim for 4th position. Wyfoon in the meanwhile already made up a place. Most of these drivers made up a place thanks to Backrow crashing out of the race. Sam there made up 2 places. Grenade Goran still hanging around in 10th place. He's gonna have to move on if he wants to stay in the championship fight, even though it's really early in the season. Of course, many things can still happen, but the more points you get, the safer you are. It looks like to me the top 6 is getting away from the rest. There's quite the gap in between Wyfoon and Sam. Unfortunately, I cannot see what the gap is, as the game decides it will not show me. Which is a shame. Another driver who's made up quite a few places is Laviva Soul. Started on the mediums, has now made up 4 positions already. Started in P19, now in 15th place. Back to the front though, Max O'Connor still going wild, is now trying to take Sam on the outside here. At the end of the second sector, it's quite a tough place to overtake. Now he's got the inside line though, and that's his move done. Well done, a nice clean drive around him. Ayrton Tolashi and Reflexes in the meanwhile fighting for 11th and 12th. No points, but still every position is won to get closer to the top 10. The Alpine and the Ferrari there. Ayrton currently hanging around in P11. He was very high up on the grid earlier. And now Max O'Connor set the fastest lap time. He is unleashed. He's ready to go to his teammate. And another DNF. That is Blind who's crashed out. No practice. But unfortunately, now his race is over here. Oh, there. He's crashed into the pit wall. The pit wall has been Blind's downfall. Not entirely sure if he wanted to enter the pit lane or maybe somebody tapped him into that wall. But we saw him in the background. That's his race over, and the second virtual safety car. Again, no full safety car, which means racing will be disrupted only for a small amount of time, and DRS will come online immediately when the flags go green. Yes, the pit wall is now currently a hit wall, so we've got 3 laps done and already 2 drivers out due to crashing into a wall one way or another. And the other Red Bull is not doing great either. Neither of the Aston Martins currently in the top 10. No Ferrari in the top 10. I was having such high hopes for the team in red. Currently, it's not done just yet. Oh dear, we have our first drive-through penalties. I think both Hecko and Reflexes have got a drive-through. They'll not be very pleased with that one. Already he's fighting, I think for a moment there at least, I saw him fighting with Trolashi for P11 still. But he's gonna have to go through the pit lane within 3 laps, otherwise that's his race over for sure. Things are heating up though between P2 and 3 mostly. They are within just half a second at the moment. But it is a DRS train right here, all the way to PW Jones. Alex GameSim is not able to keep up with that group as Sam and Grenade Goran and everybody's overtaking Hecko as he's now driving into the pit lane to take his drive-through penalty straight away. And meanwhile, Alex is getting pressurized by Waifoon. He's ready to enter that top 5 in his AlphaTauri. It looks like that team is ready to haul a big amount of points. Can I show the HUD? Yes, of course I can. Sorry, I completely forgot that one. There you go. Let's see how the tires are doing there. Sorry about that. Battery for Alex, at least is still looking healthy. Waifoon has got a very healthy battery as well, and he's got the DRS, and I think he's going to have a bit of a try here, even though he's 7 tenths behind. Didn't have a great exit, so I doubt it's going to be enough. Yes, he's too far away, at least for now. He's going to have to wait just a little bit to get his move on, just to pounce on his top 5 spot he so desires. The top 4 in the meanwhile is closed up pretty much. So close in fact that Archu had to go a bit wide to make sure not to hit Ayub, who's had a bit of an oversteering moment there as well. Either his temperatures are a bit too high, or maybe his tires are getting a bit worn, or he's just using a bit too much throttle, of course. But look at the battery. Battery is still very, very healthy. Ayub's is very healthy as well, but this man has barely used any. Let's see if he's going to go for an attack. He's really, really close this time, but he's still not using any battery. He's just waiting behind him patiently. It's almost like he's forcing the man ahead of him. Oh, into a mistake, and nearly the Mercedes of Pixon is plowing into the rear of the McLaren. That just so nearly went terribly wrong. Could have almost taken out the entire top 3 there, but it was, I don't think it was a touch. There was no contact there just yet, but it is getting very close between these 4 drivers, all fighting for the win. If it remains like this, then I'm very ready for this exciting race. Alex still getting chased by Waifoon. In the meanwhile, he's losing ground still to PW Jones ahead of him. Now he's nearly 2 seconds behind and still under pressure from the car behind him. In the meanwhile, let's see if Archo is going to place a move here. No, he's still waiting. He's waiting for that moment to strike. Meanwhile, he's got to be careful of the Mercedes of Pixon. which already is having several looks. And look at this, Wyfoon and Alex Gamsim going side by side. Alex getting pushed a little bit wide there. Wyfoon showing that he is ready to take this place and he will no longer give that back. And there he goes. However, it is the beautiful inside line there of Alex Gamsim that puts him temporarily back into 5th. But now Wyfoon will be on the inside once again. And this fight looks like it will be taking a bit of a longer than Alex probably would have hoped, or Wyfoon in fact. And these guys are heating up the battle, which allows Max O'Connor to close the gap pretty much to within a second now. He's moving out of the way, he's weaving a little bit, and there we go then, the fight for the lead. Archero is trying to go around the inside, but it just doesn't work quite yet. Ayub Khan breaking just late enough. Excellent defending around the outside there to stay in the lead of the race, which allows Pixon to pretty much close in a lot more than Archero would like. And BW Jones is also waiting for that perfect moment to strike. These drivers are really going for it. Alex Gamsim in the meanwhile slowly starting to lose ground to Wyfoon, who is now willing to close the gap to the top 4. But that didn't really work out in the S's. He's already lost 3/10 in the first sector alone to the car ahead. And he's of course still being hounded by Alex, who would like to get past again. And he's only 3/10 behind. He is using ERS. He is ready to make the move. That means Wyfoon is moving to the inside and Alex going round the outside. Of course, heading into the next corner at the end of the second sector there. Means Wyfoon will have to stay behind again. And I think that's not a bad idea of Wyfoon. In fact, the more time they spend fighting, the closer everybody can get and the further away the top 4 gets from them. In fact, Max O'Connor is already 1.5 seconds behind now. He was in within a second, so I think both drivers ahead decided just to overtake one another and not spend too much time fighting. They don't want these drivers to get within their DRS range. They've got plenty of fight on their hands as it is. And look at the patience of this man. Whoa, my goodness precious Pixon. It just keeps scaring me so hard. But he is able to brake just in time. Just hope his brakes don't get too hot from all of these moves here as Jasko moves into 13th place after a nice overtake in turn 1. I think they're still side by side, in fact. No, Lafifasol is now side by side with 4-door sedan fighting for P14. The man in P9 and the drivers is quite far behind at the moment. And we have a yellow flag as driver DMB literally flies off the track. And that's no good news for this guy with the hard tires at the moment. I don't think those tires work for him quite yet. Not looking good. Yeah, let's hope not. I've seen plenty of hospital for the next few years. Thank you very much. Oh dear, it looks like... Whoa! Max O'Connor is not ready to give up that place yet. He was overtaken by Sam, but he's showing him he's not willing to give up the P7 just yet there. So he's going to have this inside line, and Sam knows that. He cannot cross back, although it looked like he wanted to try. And now his teammate is very close behind him on medium tires that are about as old, however, which are probably currently getting faster and faster than all of those soft tires ahead of him. Thank you, Baza. What's going on here then? We already see several drivers heading into the pit lane. It is Sam and Reflexes, the first 2 men to stop for a new fresh set of tires. I think they're going to go to the hards, or they're going to go for a 2-stop. Let's see what they'll do. Yep, fresh set of soft, so it's going to be a 2-stop race for them for sure. Looks like 2-stopping isn't a bad idea on this track. At least that's what the game usually suggests, and normally those suggestions are terrible, but I don't think they are that bad here. There's a bit of stuff stuck in my throat, I hate that. Sorry. Anyway, back to the race. I'm wondering when Pixon is going to try and attack. So far, he's only braked really late and showed Archo that he's there. He's also doing that kind of weaving over there. Oh my goodness, what's going on there? He hit him now, I'm afraid. And that nearly cost him his race. And that's his chase over. And PW Jones, of course, getting involved into that as well. And it's looked like it's even worse for Fytron. He's got front wing damage. I completely was talking about the fact he was braking late. And then he decides to plow in the rear of Archuo. Fortunately for Archuo, that didn't affect him at all. And now, that means his race, for now at least, has taken a big hit. And now he's going to find a way into the pit entrance. You have to cross the road there, quite literally. And he manages to do so. Max O'Connor ahead of him, also entering the pit lane for a fresh set of tires. That's really unfortunate for PW Jones as well. He's now in P3. And he will be after this round of pit stops as well. As, of course, Fytron is going to have to switch his wing as well. Which will cost him at least 8 or 9 more seconds in the pit lane. And that's the time he's going to have to make up. Absolutely terrible. Looks like Reflexes didn't get a drive-through penalty after all. I think he's just got a 3-second time penalty. He does, yes. So far he's the only one. Anyway, looks like PW Jones already made up half a second to the top 2. So he is clawing back quite quickly. His teammate in Mio has crashed into the S's. And that's our 3rd DNF. The Oller Williams Hacko has crashed out of the race. And that is the 3rd victim that this track has claimed. And look at Archero. He is ready now. I think he's going to push Ayub all the way until the first round of pit stops. Is he going to get past before those pit stops? Or will he wait until it has happened? When will this man be ready to strike? He's waiting very, very, very patiently. It looks like he's easily capable of overtaking Ayub and just driving away. But I might be completely wrong, of course. Grenade Gore in the meanwhile putting some serious pressure on Waifu now that the medium tires are much faster than the softs. I don't think the guys ahead of him should wait much longer for a pit stop unless they're pushing for a 1-stop, which would be quite a thing indeed. Waifu then heading into the pit lane as well as Ayrton Torlashi. And once again, Archuo is hounding Ayub right behind. PW Jones is getting closer and closer still though. He's got more pace than the 2 guys ahead of him. He might have been saving his tires all the time behind the top 3. And now he's ready to push that bit extra in order to close the gap. 1.4 seconds and gaining. Waifun going to the medium tires. Ayrton Toleshi as well onto the mediums. So they are, I think, doing a 2-stop as well, but they are saving their soft tires for the end of the race. He's now using his RS. Just a little bit though. Ayub is using a bit more and his battery is starting to run out. This is what I mean with Archuo pushing, but he's gonna have a go now. Here's his first real attempt, in fact, trying to go around down the inside, sorry, but no success just yet. Once again, Ayub is an excellent defender around the outside, turns out. So far he manages to keep the AlphaTauri of himself ahead of the McLaren. But Archo is definitely knocking on his door as Reflexes takes P10 from Sam, who in fact just set the fastest lap of the race. Is now overtaken by the Alpine driver. But look at these 2 going, and they're still going right. No! Archo is gonna go for the undercut. This is his moment to strike. Not on the track, but in the pit. For some reason my sound's gone. There we are. In the pit lane. Sorry, got a bit caught out there. PW Jones is following suit. He wants to try the undercut as well, as does Alex GameSim. And that means the pressure is now on the race leader. What will he do? He's 4.6 seconds ahead of Grenade Goran on the medium tires, which are currently faster. Reflex is now setting the fastest lap of the race. And several drivers now moving into the top 6. 4-door sedan just right behind La Vive Soul. Battling it out for what is currently P5, and Jesko, despite his hard tires, is keeping them behind quite well. The only driver remaining for Alfa Romeo, with the only strategy that isn't quite standard. Well, let's see if they can hold out then. But it's definitely an undercut, and we have a Ferrari crash. It is Ayrton Torlashi, after making his pit stop, who decided to spin around his Ferrari. Either his tires are too cold or he's pushing it slightly too hard. He was fighting for points, and now that hope has pretty much vanished. Back to the battles on track though. Four-door sedan pushing La Viva Soul all the way, trying to claim 5th place for now. But of course, all of these drivers still have to claim a position. PW Jones going absolutely haywire on the fresher medium tires, despite the softs currently being faster. And look at the extra grip that Sam has. There you go, that's proof of those tires being faster. But now he's forced around the outside, Sam. And PW Jones can claim the inside, but Sam is not giving up just yet with the crossback there. He's trying to go around the outside once more. But it doesn't really work yet. PW Jones makes his car as wide as he possibly can, despite these cars already being very, very wide. In fact. But he will be, once again, getting an attack from Sam here. Sam is not going to give up. And this is exactly what PW Jones doesn't need. So will he defend hard? Or will he just let him go just to gain a toe into the next straight? Yes, he isn't defending quite hard there. He's just trying to minimize losing time to Ayub Khan, who is just ahead both of them. Ahead of both of them there, in fact, just half a second behind, in front of Sam, who is currently towing PW Jones, unwillingly of course, towards the AlphaTauri. Now both of these drivers will have a bit of trouble with both of these drivers. Reflex is of course also on the soft tires, right in the mix at the moment. And look there, the undercut has worked miracles for Arduous. He's now quite a bit ahead of Ayub Khan. He's almost 2 seconds away from him now. He's now officially, effectively leading the race. And PW Jones then getting back past Sam. He wants to stay close. He's still within DRS range of the AlphaTauri. But Sam is not giving up just yet. He knows that well, it could still be his race if he's fast. No safety cars just yet, but let's not jinx it and knock it off on some wood. I think my desk is made out of wood. Yes, it is. It's an IKEA desk, so you never really know. Now then, Grenade Goran leading the race for now until they all make a pit stop in the top 5. The entire top 5 is yet to stop. And Archo is the first of the drivers who has already stopped. And he's now connected himself to that top 5 and ready to strike. Although almost everybody ahead of him does have a DRS. So he might just be stuck for a bit longer and therefore lose his advantage to Ayub Khan. The car behind him, Reflexes, is now connected within DRS range. Ayub is within DRS range of that car and PW Jones is also within DRS range. And not too far behind both those cars is his teammate, Ayub Khan's teammate, in fact, Waifun, who he can't really count him out just yet either. So what will happen? I know Archer is going to have to make a move on, and I think he's going to have a go there. Yes, as four-door sedan goes defensive to try and keep him behind, which he has succeeded in for now at least. Archer was trying to take the cautious approach as he's right in the middle of a beautiful Alpine sandwich there. The orange right in between the blue. He's going to try and make the move to the inside, and I don't think four-door sedan saw that one coming. He got caught out so much, in fact, that now his teammate is past him as well. Reflexes moving immediately right behind Archuo. Now four-door sedans lose 2 places at once. And oh no, it's a spin! It's Ayub Khan! And the other car is spinning, but it looks like Ayub Khan somehow managed to keep the car on track. A bit too greedy there from four-door sedan, trying to get past Ayub Khan in the final 2 corners. Not really a great place to overtake, but he was so ready to do it on his old medium tires that he's now spun his car. That means, well, you might as well pit now. Time to go for an alternate strategy. As Archuo has now moved past La Viva Soul. La Viva Soul's tires being really old. He's more like an obstacle for all of these cars now. Ayub Khan having to get past quickly as well. He doesn't really want to wait behind too long, as PW Jones has now in fact very much neared his car there. Sam still pressurizing the Williams for his life. The race is heating up and Ayub Khan really wants to get past. He's already moving ahead of him just before the DRS starts, because he will have the DRS regardless. And La Viva Soul knows he's not going to fight back, I think. At least he will have the DRS, of course, but he's also getting hounded by PW Jones, who really likes to get past as well. And here he comes then, trying to go at the inside. And it looks like the Ferrari isn't defending, because he knows this is not his race. His pit stop are coming up soon. Now Sam the Sam is right behind the Ferrari. But I don't think Latifi will let him get past that easily. No, there we go then. He's already trying to defend here. As Sam does make an attempt to go around the inside with extra grip there. He almost succeeds, but Latifi will not let him pass that easily. Because he knows this guy will stop again, which will put him in the race together with the Haas. Archibald comfortably leading the race, technically, of course. Ayub Khan starting to lose ground to him again. There's still 2 cars in between him and Archibald. And Sam has now gotten past Latifi. Latifi, though, trying to go make a defensive move around the outside, trying to make a crossback. Doesn't work, neither of it. And that means he's now definitely lost the position and immediately getting pressurized by Waifun right behind him. 3% per lap. Well, some of them pitted at lap 10, so that would make 18 laps times 3 would be around 50. Yeah, it should be fine actually. Yellow flag, it's Jasko. The only Alfa Romeo remaining, spun out. The only driver on the hard tire, or at least who started on the hard tires, spun out. And he was quite high up as well, despite, of course, he still had to make a pit stop. But still, it's quite nice to drive that far ahead of the rest. Grenade Goran is only building his gap to MBS, and it looks like he's going for a 1-stop for sure, going for the soft tires. Wonder why he'll come out when the pit stop has happened. Ayub Khan then. About 1.1 seconds behind Archero. He needs to get past Reflexes, who still has to make a second stop. He will not hold out on those soft tires, of course. So let's see how much longer Ayub Khan is willing to wait. Don't think much longer, if I'm honest. This PW Jones is still behind him. I can still see 3 different drivers winning this race. I can still either see Archero, Ayub, or PW Jones win the American Grand Prix. Let's see who will come out on top here tonight. Look at this. Still stuck behind the Alpine. The Alpine is currently more of an obstacle to the AlphaTauri than it is an opponent to race against, as the soft tires are slowly starting to drop off. I'm quite positive that these fresh mediums are now quite a bit faster than those 7-lap-old soft tires. 7-lap-old soft tires, as Torlashi moves into 14th. 4-door sedan indeed pitting for a fresh set of soft tires. He's now so far behind. Unless there's a safety car, that's his race over. If there's a safety car, then this man, yes, you're correct on that one, Kirby, is the luckiest man in the world. I think he might actually try and wait for that. And there we go then, Archibald moving in second place, no problem at all. Another yellow flag as Ayrton spins out once more. It's not his day, isn't it? It's just not his day. He's gonna have to rely on his teammate to grab some points, but he's still got to pit, and he's already fallen down to 9th. His pace is pretty much gone. I'm surprised this man is still trying to drive around on these tires. If I were him, I would have stopped quite a bit earlier. And maybe have gone for a 2-stop, because I don't think this 1-stop strategy is working out for the Ferrari driver, I'm afraid. I'm sorry to say. Now then, Archo is quickly making up ground, as Reflexes now goes in for a second pit stop, and somebody is going massively wide there. It's Ayub Khan trying to get past MBS, and he succeeded in doing so. Of course, this man's tires are much older. He does try to go for another move, but he knows this fight is over. His tires are no longer in the state of fighting for him. Just gonna have to conserve them now. And there we go, Latifi, in fact, pitting as I advised. It's almost like he was listening. Fresh set of soft tires to finish off the race. Let's see how many places he can make up with that. The top 10 is not that far away for him, if I'm honest. Here we go, Ayub Khan is back within 1 second of Archer. The fight for the lead once again between these two drivers. And PW Jones, if he hurries up past MBS, then he can still be in the fight. However, he's got a big problem as his battery is pretty much dead. And Ayub's is also pretty much dead. And Archer is the only one who's got a little bit left. PW Jones then, he needs to be within a second if he wants to stay within the fight. Otherwise, Archo and Ayub would just tow one another further and further away. Yes, will Grenade Goran come in this lap as driver DNB gets a 3-second time penalty added to his race time there. Will he come in? The current race leader. There he goes. Yes, he will have the freshest set of tires. I think MBS will do the same if he's wise. Yes, he does. And I think Jesko, in my opinion, should come in as well. The only driver is yet to stop. Here he comes on his old set of hards. No, he's still going to go around. Well, that's definitely not going to do him that much favor, if I'm honest. Anyway, back to the top 3 at hand. A long time ago, Pixon used to be part of this group. But his love of the McLaren's rear, so to say, was the downfall for him. Sorry, that was probably a really wrong joke. I just had to make it. Archua then, still leading the race. And Grenade Goran has come out in P7. Wow. And now he can drive the tires, the life out of his tires. I think he can still make it into the top 5. He's not that far behind. And the cars ahead of him do have tires that are quite a bit older, in fact. Ayrton Tolashi pitting again. Now he's dead last. Not a great day for him whatsoever. Let's see, I think Grenade Goran can go into the top 5. I think he can do it. Quite convinced he can. I know what he can do. I've seen him in Tier 4 last season. So this time, this man is going to be the patient one. When will he strike? With 10 laps remaining after this one. And PW Jones having pretty much closed the gap. It's still anybody's game. They're just going to have to be careful of penalties. Because those will definitely ruin someone's race. Here we go then, onto the main straight. He's quite a while away. I think he's, especially Archer was saving ERS here. I think all 3 of these cars are now going to spend several laps saving tires as Jesko is heading into the pit lane. Finally, I thought for a moment they were overtaking one another. Pixon then moving back into 7th place. And Grenade Goran, there we are. He's already in the P5. Wow, okay. Well, there you go. I told you he would do it. It's within a lap that he's made up 2 places, but that's most likely, of course, due to the 2 cars ahead of him pitting. Max O'Connor and Jesko pitting. Yeah, there we go. I know it's tire difference as well, but those 2 cars ahead of him have pitted. I'm really struggling for words right now for some reason. Probably because I'm pretty tired. Anyway, back to the head of the race, where 3 patient men are waiting to pounce for the lead. I wonder how this will turn out to be in the final few laps. I think that's when they'll try and have their strike at the lead. Ayub Khan, though, is really starting to push it here. He likes to get past. Will he make a move here? He's going to try it in the inside, in fact. And Archo did definitely not see that coming, as he's completely going to off the track. In fact, there, Ayub Khan making his move at quite the unexpected location, at least for Archo. He is back in leader position, but Archo is not going to back out that easily. He's just pushing the AlphaTauri through the final corner, and I think he's going to strike back hard here on the main straight, with only 3/10 in between himself and the lead car. He's not spending as much battery as I thought. No, he's going to play the patient man again. He's really good at doing that. Wyfoon pitting, and that means Grenade Goran now in 4th place. 8.7 seconds separates himself from the podiums. I don't think he can close that gap within this lap, unless he's a second per lap faster and a bit more. Can he do it, chat? Let me know. Do you think Grenade Goran can go to the podium tonight? Because that would be really impressive, starting from, what was it, 11th or 12th? Let's see. 11th, yes. He's 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap faster. Yeah, that's for now, of course. That will drop off soon. Depending on how hard the top 3 will fight as well. Of course, if these 3 guys start fighting like mad, then definitely Grenade Goran will gain a bit faster. He's now 7.8 seconds behind the lead group. It's going to be tight. Will we have a 4-way fight for the win here in the USA? That would be amazing. Archo not doing the unexpected move. He knows he just needs to save battery. I think he also knows he probably has more than Ayub. Got about 10% extra. And PW Jones pretty much got the same amount of battery. I think this guy is even more patient than the two guys ahead of him, who are sometimes fighting. And this man, I think he's just waiting for it. He's just waiting for a crash or something. And then he can pounce and take the win. Wouldn't that be interesting for him? 6.8 seconds in the meanwhile. Yes. Okay, X-Kirby. I think it's almost safe to say that Grenade Gorn will make it to this group. But then, of course, it's the question whether or not he can keep it there. And whether or not he's still got enough tire life to place an attack on either of these guys. As MBS is now overtaking Pixon on his much fresher tires for P6. This guy has also got a mighty run. Look at the amount of places this man has made up. 9 places is looking really good for Aston Martin. Please do not crash your car. Your team needs these points. He's doing absolutely fantastic. P6 for MBS, 1.4 seconds behind Alex, who's got older medium tires. So for now, these tires are much faster. Can even move into the top 5. 10 points potentially for the Aston Martin team. They need that. They can overtake Ferrari tonight in the constructor standings. That's some interesting inside information there. Thank you for confirming my suspicions about PW Jones being the patient man that he is. Because from what I've seen so far in the race, he's really been just waiting around P3, P4. Then he saw Pixon moving out of the way. That meant a free podium for him. Oh, of course, MBS does have a penalty. Yeah, that's a good point. He might get a penalty remove. Okay. Let's just hope he can keep his car on track. He's already almost within striking range now of Alex Game Sim to try and claim that spot. Alex got a penalty as well, so that's only good news for him then. For MBS, that is, of course. And the patience game is still going on here. Grenade Goran now only within 5.3 seconds. He's now gaining about 1.5 seconds per lap still. But he's got to conserve at least a bit of his tires. To make sure he's got some fight left when he reaches them, if he reaches them. Let's see what he does here in the first sector. 2 tenths so far gained, 3 tenths. 4 tenths. Yes, he's still a lot faster. It's going to be interesting. Ayub Khan's main rival. I don't think Ayub expected this. I have a bit of a laggy issue here. Looks like the stability of the game isn't improving that much. As driver DNB has got a yellow flag out for himself for some reason. Look at these guys. Don't think any attack is going to happen just yet. There is still 8 laps to go. Grenade Goran, though, has lost a bit of time. Of course, he loses a bit of time on the main straight. And MBS now has moved into 5th place. There you go. Many drivers behind him are starting to get penalties. So even if it doesn't get removed, he'll still be about P6. Because I think Pixon will still overtake him if that happens. Yes, that is correct. But I think MBS will be able to move away quite easily now. As his tires are currently much stronger. Of course, they'll have to stay that until the end of the race. 1.2 seconds is what Grenade Goran has gained, and he can already see them there ahead of them. 3 cars fighting for the lead, and he is going to join them soon. And that is the retirement for driver DND. Let's hope he will not cause a safety car. That will, well, it will make things more interesting, but it will also completely disrupt the race in the top 3, and I'd like to stay to keep it that way. That fight over there. No safety cars just yet. And there we go. Okay. Well. Okay. I should have kept my mouth shut. Sorry. Completely jinxed it. Ah. I jinxed it. I'll call it out loud. I completely jinxed it. Oh no. That's terrible news for Grenade Goran. And yes, we're gonna get a crazy end. I said it would make things more interesting, and it for sure will do that. I think we might see more than 4 DNFs. He has to box. Yes, and all of these 3 drivers will box as well. Oh dear. The soft runners will stay out. I don't think they should do that. I mean, Grenade Goran's got plenty of room behind him to do a pit stop. He's got 10 seconds to MBS. I think he might not do it, but then Alex and the rest will, and then Grenade Goran will have the freshest tires. So if I were Grenade Goran, I would come in. There we go. Ayub Khan, Archero, PW Jones, all entering the pit lane. Now let's see what Grenade Goran does. There you go. Of course he comes in. There he goes, in for a fresh after tire. Let's see what MBS does. Yes, as I predicted, he stays out. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem for the drivers that will soon be behind him. I think he might be started leading this race. Reflexes is staying out on the mediums. Interesting. No, MBS does not lead the race. In fact, he disrupts the fight for the... No, my goodness. It's racing under the safety car, but he has to slot in behind Archio and ahead of PW Jones. And that is an absolute disaster for the Williams driver there. As he's now got an Aston Martin with all their soft tires in between himself and a potential race win. And what's even worse, the Aston Martin's got himself a penalty. Of course, it might get removed. But I do not know if he has received any further warnings. But oh my god, it's terrible news for PW Jones there. That's really not what he wanted. It's also bad news for Grenade Goran, who's also got another car ahead of him he doesn't really want to have there. His teammate is behind him, but I think Sam might just leave him alone. There we are then, the medium, the safety car. Well, I was about to say the medium car, I'm not sure why. The safety car is messing and mixing up all things. Now the big question, of course, is will he wait for Ernest to close up to the group, or will he come in quickly in order for the racing to continue? I really hope he does the latter, but this is the game, and things might be different. RIP MBS, yeah, it would be amazing to see an Aston Martin on the podium. I've rarely seen that in this or last season combined. But this man, I'm afraid, is a bit in trouble. This man is as well. This man is in trouble too. He's got really quick drivers behind and in front of him. They should have come in. I mean, track position is nice. But I'm afraid he's going to be swarmed. He's going to be holding up several drivers who might get impatient and then we might see some crashes. I really hope not. I really hope it doesn't happen. But I can totally see these drivers on all the tires being an issue for those who are trying to fight for the win. I don't want to jinx it. I'll just be quiet. I'll just shh. Tell me to be quiet. That might help. Because I'm too good at jinxing. You know, I'll just go and get a drink. Maybe that will help. I'll be right back. What's the latest? Ah, of course, still safety car. It looks like Ernest is going to be able to catch up and we'll get racing around the end of this lap. Just stop commentating, you say? Alright, I'll just do that. Thank you so much for watching and have a great night. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, I'll continue commentating. I mean, you want to see the end of the race, don't you? Got you there, didn't I? Probably didn't. Still. Sorry. Couldn't resist. Yes. It's 3 laps, in fact, Big Turbina. 26, 27 and 28. A lot can happen in 3 laps, especially on this track where overtaking is a joy. Yes, sometimes I like to pull a sneaky. I've pulled jinxes, now I can pull a sneaky. But that changes everything. Well, you know, 1 more lap is definitely extra racing. Ernest is caught up. The group is complete. Now, predictions for the winner. I'd like to see them. Will Ayrton be able to keep the lead? Will Archero make his move? PW Jones will have to hurry up. He wants to get past them. especially past MBS. What will those medium tire drivers do? Reflexes and Sam. Will they be able to do something, or will they just be in the way? Oh, look at this. This is having a nice snuggle all together. Very friendly come together there. Here we go. Mr. Mystery. No, my name is Frostbreath. It still is. Here we go. He's still getting ready. And there he goes. Yep, definitely going here for sure, of course. Otherwise he'll have a massive toe on the main straight. Looks like he's got a great restart there. It's half a second. PW Jones is quite close to MBS, but not close enough. Who's in fact got a pretty bad restart. So PW Jones really has to hurry up now if he wants to get past. And look at that Grenade Goran going absolutely haywire. He's already moved into 5th place. Back into P5 now for the Haas driver. And the man second in the drivers. He's gonna go quick. And that means Reflexes and Sam will be the obstacle for the cars behind. Wyfoot, in fact, already bumping Sam and telling him to really hurry up. And now MBS got himself another penalty. Archo has got himself a penalty, so that Ayub Khan is now quite safe indeed. Yeah, that would be a good idea, actually, Deek Surf. I'll have to make some little graphic to make sure that everybody knows that I am Frostbreath who's commentating. But anyway, Wyfoon moving into 7th place for now. Then immediately Alex Gamesim trying to make the most of it as well, side by side with the Haas driver. And I really think both Sam and Reflexes are now seriously regretting staying out. Oh my goodness me! That was very close indeed. That was literally a push to the side, and in fact that put himself onto the grass. That's absolutely insane what's going on there. Left and right the man goes, and that's his race for points pretty much over. But my god, that was an absolutely insane move there from the man in the Haas, who was fighting for points. No more though, and PW Jones still stuck behind the Aston Martin, but I think this time this man is not going to have that patience anymore that he has. He's already lost 2 seconds to the lead group. He can still claim 2nd place because of Archo's penalty, but will the penalty stand? Of course. Several things going on after this restart. Maybe some pushing there gave him the final warning, but he's going to try go around the outside of the track here into turn 1. He's moved into 3rd place at last, and now he's going to have to hurry up like crazy if he wants to stand any chance of winning. And that now then MBS got called out. That means Grenade Goran are also moving up a position and is now pressurizing PW Jones for the podium. Many things happening here. The fight for P3 is still going. The fight for the lead is pretty much decided thanks to the penalty of Archibald. Ayub Khan, it looks like, unless he makes a big mistake, he will win tonight's race. Grenade Goran then has a really big shot at coming to the podium from P11. If that happens, he's definitely my driver of the day. We have Jesko retiring from the race. That's both Alfa Romeos out then. No great day for that team here in the USA. They'll want to forget this race quickly. Who will be the final man on the podium? That is the big question tonight. Alex Gamesim then moving past Reflexes. This man is, I'm quite sure he's regretting his choice. He shouldn't have done that. He's already immediately about to be overtaken by the other Mercedes, who's trying to go right the outside and now trying to take the inside as he goes really wide. Reflexes there. Final lap of the race. DRS is now online. This is the one shot that Grenade Goran has to get onto the podium. He needs to stay within the DRS range and he needs to close up quickly now if he wants to have any chance at P3. MBS then fighting for his life to keep Wyfoon behind. But let's have a look at the penalties. I'm not entirely sure if his penalty can still get removed. Both of them got 6 seconds, so that's not a big deal then for him. But Alex Gamesim has only got 3, Pixis got none, so both of those drivers will overtake them at the end of the race. Maybe even Reflexes will, if he manages to stay close enough. Grenade Goran then. He cannot get closer. Will the fight be decided here? Will he have a chance? Down the back straight. No, it's 0.8 of a second. He needs a miracle. He's using all of his battery, but it's not enough as PW Jones is using it as well. It looks like He is safe, the Williams driver, for the podium. I'm sure he wanted more. I'm sure he wanted to fight for the lead. He will claim P2 thanks to Archo's penalty. So that's at least a bit of a consolation. But I'm quite sure this man really wanted the win. As Sam has decided to retire from the race. His AI came out of the pit lane. That's him now out. Four-door sedan also far behind in P14. Grenade Goran, though, closing up a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. He will not be able to close 0.6 of a second in 2 corners remaining of this race. And here we have it then. The man waited patiently and he's winning the race. Oh no, what are you doing? Oh god, he just crashed after the finish line. Archibald crashing out after the line. I don't think that's allowed. So, yeah, that happened. PW Jones in second, and there we have it then. Gray Goran still getting that podium place, thanks to Archio in 4th position. But good god, what a final few laps. Whew. Just lost it. He might have just lost it, yeah. It went so quick. Maybe I was wrong there. Anyway, the only driver we're waiting for now is four-door sedan. But there we have it. Ayub Khan held it together. He claimed the victory. PW Jones came home second. I think he'll be quite happy after what happened with the Aston Martin coming in between. And there's the first point for the team, in fact, for Aston Martin. Finally, they've gotten on the scoreboard. It's about time. Nerf patch. Patch 1.17. Nerfed Ayub Khan. Plus 0.5 seconds of a lap. Driver of the day, La Viva Soul. For me, it should be Grenade Goran. From P11 to P3. Absolutely beautiful. Keeping his championship fight alive. He does lose 10 points, or 11 I think, because Ayub's got the fastest lap. There he goes. The winner trophy is his. Well, in fact, La Viva Soul from P19 to P7. Actually, I didn't know he ended that high. Maybe he's actually deserving the driver of the day as well. Some much needed points for Ferrari there. His teammate barely missing out on that top 10. And MBS getting the first point for Aston Martin. So that's, well, technically it's 7 DNFs. Sorry, 6. As these 3 drivers crashed out, 2 drivers crashed out as well. But the game doesn't count them. And counts them as 2 laps or 1 lap down. So there we have it then. End of the race. Ayub Khan increasing his lead in the championship. PW Jones, oh dear, he's got the fastest lap, but just barely. Look at that, 15 milliseconds quicker than Ayub Khan in the end. So that's an extra point for him. He only loses 6 points to Ayub Khan there for the championship fight. Yeah, definitely. I might change my mind there on driver of the day. We should have a vote somewhere in chat. Who is the driver of the day? Grenade Goran or La Viva Soul? Because, you know, that's quite a mighty drive from the Ferrari driver as well. I would love to show you the intermission screen. Unfortunately, I only have this. Usually should be a nice fancy flag in front, but I didn't receive those in time. But it doesn't matter, because of course we'd love to hear from the drivers. Let's see if anybody's willing for an interview. Let's see if they've been made aware of the interview room already. There we go. Interview available. Thank you, Gauzy, for putting that up. It's nice they have an invite ready for that. I should probably do that as well. Let's see if anyone joins. Yeah, there we go. The first man to join us is, well, I think it's safe to say that PW Jones is the chat favorite. He's been for several races in a row. PW Jones, before we start the interview, can you say a few words to make sure that my OBS is receiving your voice? Let me know, chat. I don't think you were able to hear him, as I didn't see the thingies move. No voice. Okay, try again, please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think
Hello?
they can now.
Hello, yeah.
Just waiting for a confirmation. This is a great way to start an interview. Please confirm. Anybody? They're going really quiet now.
Hello. I am here, honest.
They're just keeping me. Ah, there we go. We can hear him. Fantastic. Thank you, Hacko and Fubar. So there you go then, PW Jones, second place. From our point of view, you looked like you were easily the most patient man on track out there. And then the safety car came. But first things first, the fight until, well, first pit stop and onwards, you were hanging around in P4, P3 when Pixon spun out. Was it actually a waiting game for you, or did you have other plans?
Yeah, I quite like to hang behind in races. I don't see the point early on and fighting, so just I was hoping for the top two to just take each other out, but it didn't happen, unfortunately.
Yep, they kept it quite clean, in fact. They did fight a little bit, but they were really patient as well. When the safety car arrived, you suddenly had an Aston Martin in between you and a potential race win. How was that?
Yeah, it was quite frustrating that he just got in front of me, but he's on a different strategy. So it was just one of those things. I felt I was slightly faster than the people in front, but whether I could have got them for a genuine win, I don't know. But yeah, I think it was MBS, is it? He was on 5-6 lap old soft. So
correct.
It took me a lap or two to get past him, but it was okay in the end.
Yeah, I was about to ask whether you thought you could have won the race or not if he wasn't there, but you already kind of answered that. So I think I'm safe to say you're quite happy with P2 then.
Oh, absolutely. I just settled for P3 early on in the race when I was in that position. I thought the safety car messed it up, but yeah, to get P2 in the end, I'm very happy with that.
All right, cheers. Then it looks good for you still in the championship fight. Let's have a little look at those standings, which of course were from before this race. You're hanging around in third place at the moment. You will overtake Grenade Goran for second place. So let's see. Do you think you can take on Ayub?
I don't know. I think he's a lot quicker than me. I mean, this track I seem to be quite close, but I wasn't expecting to be at this top end fighting for these positions. We'll just turn up, and I think I'll write Monaco off to begin with, but then after Monaco, I'll give it a good go.
All right, really curious and excited to see what you can do in all the remaining races. So enjoy your second place, and see you in Monaco.
Great, thank you very much.
All right, let's move on to the winner of this race, the man, the legend. Let's see if I can unmute him. I think, I have muted you, Ayub. I think, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Absolutely beautiful. First, I've got to talk to you about the qualifying lap, because suddenly you were half a second faster than the rest of the field. Where did that come from?
Yeah. No, I mean, the lap that I did initially was quite a poor lap for me. Like, I felt like I had a lot of time in the lap. So, like, in practice, like the small amount of practice I'd done before it, like I was doing low 31s and like I could get into a high 30. So I was quite disappointed with like 32. But yeah, we strung a lap together at the end, and it was just about good enough to take pole.
Yeah, then we had, of course, Archuo getting very close with the pole lap, or second place, in fact. And then in the race, he was pretty much driving behind you all the time and not really attacking that fiercely.
Yeah, I think he was quite smart about like saving ERS and just trying to like minimize time loss.
Yeah, we thought so as well. We saw the driver behind you, especially Archuo and PW Jones being very patient. For a moment, I thought you were getting spun out at some point during the race. I can't remember who touched you on the rear, but it was a car who spun out eventually. But fortunately, you weren't affected. Who was that?
I think it was four-door sedan.
Yes.
You struggle to go side by side. So, like, I tried to leave as much room as I could on the inside, but there's a big sausage curb, so I don't know if he tapped that or he just tapped the side of my car, but yeah, it's a very tricky corner to go side by side into. I tried to leave as much room as I could, but unfortunately he came off.
Yeah, we saw that happen, but fortunately for you, no damage done. So this was a well-deserved race win for you. Of course, you were pushed all the way. Did you think your race win was in danger at any point?
Yeah, for most of the race, I was quite skeptical about like Archuo's pace and like how he managed to get the undercut. I felt like one lap fresh tires wasn't too much, but I felt like it'd be a little bit of a benefit, but not massively. So I was a little bit worried when I came out the pits. But yeah, the medium pace was quite good, and I was able to catch back up and overtake him. And at that point, I saw the soft runners were catching back up, but then the safety car came out, and then it was just about getting a good restart and making sure we don't lose the lead on the last lap.
Yep. You're now extending your lead at the top of the table. The other drivers not getting as close as they wanted to. Let's look forward to Monaco. What can we expect from you there?
It's a bogey track, so we'll see what happens. If maybe we can, I don't know. Monaco's going to be maybe an off week for me. Like we'll see where we can finish. I'll try my best, but it was nice to cap off today with a pole and a win. So.
All right, awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. We're all proud of you. So well done. Enjoy your victory tonight. And let's see what will happen in Monaco next week. Cheers.
Thank you. Have a nice night. Cheers.
Right, ladies and gents, I think, if I'm correct, that this is about it for tonight. We've heard from the men in P1 and the men in P2. Unfortunately, Archio has not joined the interview waiting room. But nonetheless, we've heard some interesting insights and confirmation from PW Jones that he was indeed patiently waiting for the drivers in front to simply crash. But they both raced clean enough for that not to happen. In fact, all three of them were exceptionally patient. And then Pixon, I'm afraid, got caught up on that particular happening. So yeah, there you go. An exciting race, and so much cleaner than I saw last time out in Tier 3. It was an absolutely beautiful race. Only one safety car compared to those 4 or 5 we saw in Australia 2 weeks ago. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really happy to be back. I hope I can finally consecutively keep commentating on these races, because I've had enough of all the misery of the past few weeks with all the stuff happening privately. Thank you for all the support. I'll try and see if I can put my name somewhere. I'll try and make a suggestion to just put on the commentator's name somewhere on like the bottom left side of the stream, so everybody knows who is commentating. That I think that would be quite useful to know, because as far as I know, it's currently announced nowhere. I'm not a brand. But yeah, I think it's good to have some awareness about who's commentating. Not necessarily because it's me, but just because it's just a useful thing to have. So if any of the admins is listening still, make it happen. I can do some photoshopping as well, so I might be able to pull off something too. But there you have it. So yeah, that's the race in the USA for tonight. Tomorrow, same time this evening, 10 p.m. as well. We will go to Tier 2 on the same track. I think we might see some 1 minute 30s. And it's going to be exciting. Let's see what that tier can do. How fast they will be. How great the racing can be. And I'm going to go to bed. Got a long day ahead of me tomorrow. But I'm definitely looking forward to more racing. I hope you do as well. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.